thank you all for joining us today for what is going to be a very momentous occasion with a collaboration with IIT Madras and JGU Global University. I'm now going to hand over to our founding Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. C. Rajkumar, who is going to tell you more about why we are gathered here.
To announce, obviously, the JGU Global University, Sonipat, Haryana, and the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, IIT Madras. But the details of the collaboration is more interesting and more important. First of all, I want to give you a background of why we have been able to build this collaboration. This year, the year of 2024, is a very significant year for India. We are celebrating the 75th anniversary of the adoption of the Constitution of India. On 26 November 1949, the Constitution of India was adopted. It was an extraordinary effort that lasted more than 2.5 years, and approximately, finally, 300 members of the Constitutional Assembly adopted the Constitution. Now, the last 75 years has been quite an extraordinary journey, and so we at JGU Global University felt that it's an appropriate time for us to establish India's first Constitution Museum and the Rights and Freedoms Academy. Now, this is quite interesting because we discovered to establish India's first Constitution Museum. I'm happy to report to you that the last 6 months have been quite an intense effort that involved so many institutions in India and around the world in terms of collection of data, archival information, and both physical and digital information and all of that. I will be sharing with you more information about that as well. But let me talk to you about the objectives of the Constitution Museum. There were 5 important objectives of the Constitution Museum. First, and appreciate the history and evolution of the Constitution. The second objective of establishing the Constitution Museum is to democratize the access to Constitution. In some ways, Constitution was historically seen as a document that was confined to the interest of lawyers and judges, that was confined to the interest of law, but we wanted to democratize access. All those things are essentially put with a view to ensuring that ordinary people are able to connect to the museum. The third objective of the Constitution Museum is to essentially pay tribute to the outstanding 300 members of the Constituent Assembly. I am sure several of us know that some of the leading figures were part of the Constituent Assembly. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the president of the Constituent Assembly. Pandit Nehru moved the Objectives Resolution, which became the preamble. Sardar Patel played a very significant role in the Constituent Assembly and later became India's first Deputy Prime Minister. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constituent Assembly and hugely credited with the Constitution itself, and later became India's first Law Minister. And you can add a few more names, including Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad and A.M. Munshi and so many others. But that will give you 10, 15 people or so in developing deeper understanding of the Constitution. Our Constitution was also very flexible. It was born out of the circumstances in which we were essentially coming out of nearly 200 years of colonialism. We were building a new India. And so these aspects were also brought into the museum as well.
A very interesting endeavor of having a constitutional museum. Generally, museum is looked down upon as a place that you go, but museum is a place to look out for various things that are there. So beautifully he had summarized the reason and the rationale of how this first Constitution Museum in independent India after 75 years is getting inaugurated at the Institute of Eminence, JGU University. Around here, he had popped a question of technology collaboration or something that can be brought up. And in that endeavor is this collaborative approach. Like the constitution was put by this baby country with a bunch of lawyers and an excellent members of the Constituent Assembly who got together, tried to put a framework of rules under which this nation could progress and reach where we are. Symbolic to that is this collaborative effort, not of professors or faculty and other thing, but a bunch of students, people as said before, from the Jindal's School of Art and Architecture and Fine Arts, the BFA students and others, who came up with the external design, and the technical part of it was from the IIT, the Center for Innovation at C5 at IIT Madras. We had, our students had put together various aspects like a large language model, bring the AI into it, and aspects of it that are new in terms of what can be done. Constitution again was not a perfect document on the day one, and that is something that is always improved and amended to be something of relevance and a guiding framework for all of us. Likewise, this robo is something that is being put together, probably evolving with the large language models and other things that are there, but also be a guide to a large body of people that are going to be viewing this evolution of this constitution through this technological aspect that would be there as a museum point. Now there are many firsts. I mean, friend Professor Paddy will talk about it more in detail. The kids also.
Just you want to touch this page.
So the hero of it is Sambit, and the bigger hero and heroine are the kids who work to get it done in a very short duration.
Just read everything.
Yes, sir. Looking here, sir.
Duties of the government and defines the basic rights of citizens. The Constitution is not, therefore, a mere lawyer's document.
All right.